Welcome back to Talk a Good Game, a show all about, you guessed it, good games. I'm your host, Andrew Wolf. With me today, artist, graphic designer, and retro gaming enthusiast, perhaps best known as the hand-drawn games guides guy. Boy, that's a mouthful. Philip Summers, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to talk about these awesome games. But first, you got to tell me what you've been working on.
Hey, Andrew, first off, we've been talking through Twitter, years now. So
yeah,
being able to
it has been years.
Yeah, so it's cool. And I like when I get to finally, I know we're not meeting in person, but I like when I get to finally meet people. So, and
yeah, it feels like it.
Yeah, and also you've been so helpful and kind with everything. I gotta tell you that to your face. I know I say it in messages all the time, but I got.
Well, we got to stick together. We got to stick together, man. The industry's tough, but yeah, it's been great getting to know you and supporting all the work you've been doing. And you do incredible work.
Thank you.
I know you've been posting a bit about hand-drawn game guides going full on with Mega Man. And I saw there a couple people were talking about how they keep their Zelda hand-drawn game guide in the gold bubble mailer, and I have mine in my gold bubble mailer still. I absolutely keep it in the gold bubble mailer.
That's so fun.
I don't remember. Was it the Castlevania one that it was a black bubble mailer?
Ninja Gaiden. Sorry, not Castlevania.
Yeah. Castlevania was later, the Patreon. Yeah, I've still got the black bubble mailer too.
Castlevania was the one that appeared in the mail in a ball.
Yeah. Mine wasn't in a ball. Mine wasn't folded up or anything. But I know some people had some issues, but mine was fine. I've got all my shelf.
So you did keep the black one. I'm sorry, I wanted to make my stupid joke. So you did keep the black.
Yeah, and I've got the the 2020X sticker here. I still am nice and shiny. I'm still deciding where to put that.
Nice, cool. Yeah.
But what have you been working on lately?
So you mentioned it. I've been working on Mega Man hand-drawn game guides. So the quick history, if you never heard of this thing, is I draw video game guides by hand, no screenshots or anything like that. So for years, I drew a bunch of these books. People were real into them. I obviously didn't have licenses to make stuff like Zelda and Metroid and all that, but I was like, I'm going to roll the dice, do a Kickstarter campaign, see if I get shut down. I did. And then a couple years went by. I did a few things in between. Like I mentioned that Castlevania thing. That was a thing called hand-drawn gaming, where I kind of my workaround, my loophole was I would be like, well, let's make maybe if it's more like a magazine, I can kind of skirt by, and it's a little, I did it through Patreon, so it was a little more low key, and I think it worked, but it burned me out immediately. And then I basically took half a year kind of off. I worked on a book called 2020X. Andrew held up that little sticker. That's from the book, which was a combination of all these little reviews of games I played over the course of 2 years. And now I'm on Mega Man officially, which is really cool. So I'm finally able to do one of my traditional style guides. And we're doing a Kickstarter campaign right now. I don't know. The Kickstarter might be over by the time you hear this. I have no idea. But either way, you could actually probably still go there. And I know
there'll be a link there somehow.
Yeah, and I know Lucas from Nintendo Force. That's who I'm working with. NF Publishing. I know there's a whole backer kit thing that's happening. So if you're late, you can still get in there.
Super pumped.
But there it is. Thank you. Yeah. So that's my quick little pitch there. What I've been up to.
when I got 2020X, it was like you said, it was 2 2 years of games you played. And I was like, man, Phil plays a lot of games. You're playing a lot of games. It's incredible. I'm playing a lot.
And it's so funny because now we're on this show and you sent me a list of well, what are you playing? And that should have been easy to fill out, but I've been so busy lately. I'm like, how do I have nothing? How do I?
No, you filled it out. And then you promptly were like, oh, can I change the game? Yeah. I want to change the game. I want to change it. No, but speaking of good games, that's a nice segue into talking about the games you've been playing.
The games.
I do want to start with your favorite game of all time, and I don't remember if this is the one that you changed, or maybe it was a different one. No, it was a different one down the line. Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which fantastic, right? I think on Deku Deals on the About page, each of us we asked ourselves what is our desert island game, and my choice is Breath of the Wild, which I think is basically what's your favorite game of all time, but it's also, desert island games a little bit different than favorite. It's also what could you not get tired of playing,
right? Exactly.
And I think most people have heard of Breath of the Wild, but I'm curious why it's your favorite.
I remember I had a conversation with a person I worked with years ago, and Breath of the Wild was semi new at that point, maybe 2 years old, and he asked me what I thought about it, and I was like, dude, it's my favorite game of all time. And he's just like, you're just saying that because you're like hyped up on it. It's new. It's the thing. He's just like, you're not going to say that years from now. And I was like, I don't know, man. I'm feeling pretty good about this one. So when the question came up again, I definitely stared at it for a while, and I was like, maybe he's right. Maybe it's not really my favorite game of all time. And I'm like running through the list of things, and I was just like, I don't know, man. That was like, that's a special game. Like I'm keeping it on the list, and I think it's not even so much the game itself. I mean, the game itself is like a masterpiece, but I think it was the time that it came, and like and it kind of, this is kind of like how I feel about a lot of these games. A lot of it is like the time and the place and like what's happening in your life, right? So my little story here is the Switch was coming out, and I had it pre-ordered, and I just got let go from my job. So, I got it from Amazon, so you're not charged yet or whatever. So I had the Switch, I had Zelda coming, and I was just like, I have to cancel this thing. I cannot in good conscience, like have the, whatever it cost at the time, $400 or $500 that I spent to get all that stuff. I was like, I can't do it. I can't justify this. Like, I'm not working. So I was kind of like, well, I'll just settle on the Wii U version of Zelda. I'll just get that and I'll be good. And my wife was just like, no, just, you still deserve it. You're going to get a job. Just like get the machine, get it. And I'm like, all right, cool. So the Switch was coming. Usually Amazon's a little late with my deliveries, but that day they were Johnny on the spot. They had that thing out like first thing in the morning. I was feeling good going into that. My daughters were probably like third grade at the time. And my one was actually 6, so she was staying home from school. And then I was just like, you know what? This is a Nintendo day. Like, the kids are staying home. So I let
Nintendo Christmas. Nintendo Christmas.
So I let my other, she was pumped too, so I let her stay home. My other daughter was a little jealous. She's like, I had to be sick, and she got the free day. I was like, too bad, you know?
Yeah, too bad. Yeah, you're staying home anyway.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So that part is just, and then we played Zelda all day. And we downloaded Snipper Clips. We played that a little. That was a little hard for them at the time. It wasn't like, they weren't really getting it. So we just goofed around with Zelda all day. And like, to me, like, that was kind of the beauty of that game, is like the kids, they were getting okay at video games, but like, the Zelda games were kind of hard. We played a couple of them together before that. So like we did Twilight Princess on Wii U and Wind Waker, but like I played those and they watched, and they were kind of like, sometimes they would try to play them and they would get a little like frustrated or whatever. My one daughter really liked Hyrule Warriors because you could just jump right into
Smash
that.
The buttons, yeah.
Yeah, and you got all the characters or whatever. So she was into that. So this, like, they took to this one too, especially my one daughter. She just, because you can get lost. You can just kind of do whatever you want. And it feels like you're making progress, if you're a kid, because you're just kind of moving around, you're doing things. And then that just, I've just spent, and I spent so much time on that game. And, when you're between jobs, man, especially when you got a family, it's an awful feeling. And to have that game, and it was like my reward. I would wake up in the morning, the kids would go to school. I would do whatever I could to like send, resumes out, look for jobs. I'd spend maybe 2 hours. I was like doing a lot of digital art at the time just to like keep moving. I didn't want to become just a slug.
Stagnate.
But then and then at the end of that, like maybe after lunch or whatever, be like, all right, I'm going to hop on Zelda. And I played I played that game for months. And
there wasn't a whole lot of it. I mean, like on Switch at launch, there wasn't there wasn't a ton. Even even the eShop like it is now, there wasn't a lot. So I think on top of it being an incredible game, I totally understand like for playing it for months.
Oh yeah. With the eShop, what it had? Well, Snipper Clip had Blaster Master, I think, and like Shovel Knight, which like I already played Shovel Knight on the Wii U, so I didn't like double dip on that one.
There was a couple indies.
It's been so long. Yeah, there was a few things.
Yeah. One with like a yellow. There was one with like a yellow slug. What was that? I don't remember what it was, but there was Fast RMX or something. Or
yes, I kind of wanted to play it. I never ended up playing that. I did want to play that, but yeah, there was like seriously 5 games on the thing, which is crazy because now it's just there's 5 games every day, and they're dog crap.
Yeah. Well, props to your wife for convincing you to grab it. Anyways, I'd say marry that woman, but you already did. Obviously,
yeah. I mean, look, she allows me to have all this. Like I can't.
Yeah, definitely. I know. I was trying to admire in the background. A lot of figures, a lot of cool stuff.
She's cool at all this. I mean, she likes a lot of she's not like into the games or whatever, but she likes all the little toys and stuff like that. She's into that stuff. So
yeah, there's definitely something about like not only, you know, you attach a moment to it as well, but I remember I was on a work trip going to Nashville and they announced the release date and I was like, oh man, I'm going to be in Nashville at that time. Like, what am I going to do? I can't, you know, like I can't order from Best Buy and like not have it for a few days. Like it's a new Nintendo console. So I actually changed my pickup order to a Best Buy in Nashville. And I was like looking for one near my hotel. I was like, I remember searching for like Nashville Best Buys and it was all the way across town. I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'm going to set up for pickup there. And then like took an Uber. It was like 40 minutes all the way across from Nashville. Picked it. It was amazing. It was totally worth it. It wasn't until like, you know, a day later, next day, where I realized that there was a Best Buy right across the street, but I wasn't like technically staying in Nashville, so up as Best Buy Nashville, but it was still worth it, right? Like, and yeah, you were saying you spent like $400 or $500 or whatever. It was like I had to get everything. You know, I got 1-2 Switch, I got Zelda, I got the case, I got the Switch itself. But yeah, 1-2 Switch. I don't know if you got it at launch, but it was fun. It was fun while it was fun. But
yeah, I didn't, you know, the girls got it for their birthday that year, which was like 4 months later or whatever. And like they opened it at a birthday party and it was fun for the birthday party because everybody was just kind of goofing around with it. And then like, I think we played it one more time other than that. It was like,
it wasn't Breath of the Wild.
But, you know, we had our laughs.
Yeah.
No.
And I think like,
but I mean,
even though they showed it in the trailer, I think when you first wake up and you come out of the cave and it like kind of does that zoom and pan and like pulls out and it's got that view. I'm not sure that anything on top of that. Like, I don't know, man. That's like one of the top memories that I've got about Breath of the Wild.
And like, oh god, yeah, that's incredible. Another like moment for me was I happened to discover a Lionel and what's it called? I'm such a big fan. I can't think of the name of the Cyclops. I don't remember blank, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, yeah,
big guy. You know who I'm talking about, though, right? Yeah. So the big guy, I discovered. They were by the mountain. They're by Hebra Mountain. And I discovered both of them at the same time. And I was very like low level. I know you don't have levels, but you know, you power up. And I had no idea what to do. And like, I realized I could not fight the Lionel. It was just not happening. And then, so the Cyclops, whoever's listening to this, they're like, I can't.
Hinox, right? Is it?
Yes.
Hinox?
Yeah, the Hinox. Yeah.
Hinox? I don't even know.
Hinox, yeah.
I've never said it out loud.
But it could be Hinox. Yeah. I know the big. So I then I battled him and I just tried to figure out the best. And I remember climbing this. I had awful weapons. I'm shooting my bow at him, and I was like, "This is incredible!" Like you didn't expect that kind of like encounter out of a Zelda game. And I was just like, "This is incredible!" Like I don't know. I just remember being just blown away by that because I'm just thinking about all the scenarios that's happening with I'm trying to watch the Lionel, and it was awesome. Just discovering like. Actually speaking of that mountain, because I couldn't go up that mountain at that point because you have to have like the winter gear. And I remember one night just running around wasting time. My nephew had already beaten the game. And I went up the mountain. That was where I found, I think it's Nadra is the dragon you have to like free. You have to fight it. So it's kind of like this mystery boss fight, totally optional. And I figured since my nephew beat it, I was like, he must have found this thing. So I was like, dude, I ran into the dragon. It was incredible. And then he was just like, what are you talking about? And I said, yeah, I was like, there's a whole dragon. I was like, you have to like fight this thing in the sky. And he was just like, oh my God. But just like that kind of thing, we had so many stories, like my friend, like chat room that we had. I mean, we were all just, that was the other thing too. It kind of like took you back to just like that, playground feel where everybody was at school and you're like, hey, I did this thing in the game. And there was so much of that happening, and the game's so big that everybody's just like kind of trading tips. Even with like my daughter at that point in time, I was like super, no spoilers. As now I don't care.
Yeah, I'm going to forget about it before I get to that point anyway. So
yeah, exactly. It's like, whatever. I can't worry about spoilers for everything. But like my daughter was like telling me things, and I was like, things I missed. And I was like, oh, I definitely got to head over there. I remember she found Lurlin Village. Is that the correct name? I'm blowing all the names. It's been too long since I played. But I remember she found that village, and I had already beaten the game at that point too. And I was like, I can't believe I missed an entire village. Like this game just keeps giving. And I mean, it was just an amazing experience. And Tears of the Kingdom is a great game. It's amazing as well, but it just didn't have that same. It didn't have the same impact. It definitely had the same where everybody everybody I was talking to had stories and like, I'm doing this, I'm here, I'm there, and so there was a lot of that. But it just didn't hit the same.
It also felt like a really big expansion, and I think that took away some of the magic, and it's still an incredible game. Like Tears of the Kingdom is amazing, right?
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But it didn't have I think it's because it was like a lot of the things that there were so many times in Breath of the Wild where I went, I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if I can do X or Y or Z. And yes, the answer was yes. Like you can. Like, can I climb that thing?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Can I make a fire out of, by doing this? Or like, can I stay warm by doing this? Or like, it was so many questions like that the answer was always yes. That's part of the magic for me. And I think that lends itself to the sort of like schoolyard, like everyone you were talking to that played it was like, yo, have you tried doing this? And I was like, what? I didn't know that fairy was there. Like, what? That's crazy. And like, go and find it. And I think Tears of the Kingdom, just because of what it was or what it is, like it didn't have that same level. Still incredible game, but I'm super curious to see where they take the Zelda series moving forward. Like I know a lot of people are like, well, take it back. We want more classic Zelda, but I don't know. I feel like it's out of the box now. It's hard to put it back in.
Yeah, I mean, how did you feel about
Echoes of Wisdom was good. The water temple, like I don't know, some of the puzzles were frustrating, not because they were difficult, but because it was frustrating. It just felt like it wasn't fair, which is a weird thing to say when you have this ability that can just like create anything, right? But I did like that the puzzles were back in more of a major form, where in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom you had the temples, whatever, not the temple. What were they? You like go inside the.
I mean,
shrines.
Did they have the shrines?
Yeah. They're basically they're small temples. But like you go inside the shrines, but those were spread out pretty well, just because the world was so big. And I liked that there was a lot more. It was in your face puzzles, but I don't know. I didn't beat it. I didn't beat Breath of the Wild either, though. I mean, I put like over 200 hours into Breath of the Wild.
Right.
I didn't beat it. I still haven't beat Tears of the Kingdom. I just don't want it to be over. So I feel like once I beat it, it's over. So I just.
That, there is something to that, because it didn't, not so much with Breath of the Wild. That I was like definitely determined, not to 100%, but made sure I found every shrine after I beat it. But Tears of the Kingdom, I was being way more like methodical, because I was already used to the Breath of the Wild like way, so I was being very methodical with like each region I went to. I really explored it, and then like I realized I had been playing this game for like months, and I was going on vacation, and I was like, I just want to beat this before I go on vacation. So I kind of rushed through a little bit. I skipped like entire regions, and then I was just like, I'll probably go back. And I never went back after I beat it.
It's hard to go back.
And I want to. I do kind of want to.
It's hard to go back.
Yeah.
I keep telling myself, I buy these games and I got on my shelf, and I keep telling myself that I'll go back. I'll play them. I'll play these. I don't know. And then the next thing comes out, and I don't go back. But that's something you're pretty good at, though. Is going back and playing old games. I know you say it happens all the time, but
I love them.
You go back and play old games.
I mean, but I got to stack that.
Well, you could just tell yourself it's for work, right? I got to do it for work. I got to play it for work. I keep telling myself that for work too. I'm like, well, I got to play this game and research for work, for posting on social media about it. Like, But speaking of going back in time.
Hey, real quick, I noticed since posting on social media, you made a comment, which I agree with, by the way. You posted a deal for Tropical Freeze, and you said it's the superior Returns game, which it is. Yeah. But is the Switch one, are you not enjoying the Switch version, or it's just you just think it's a better game in general?
It showed up. It showed up yesterday. Yeah, we're recording this the day after it came out. It showed up yesterday. I haven't popped it in yet, but it's just... like, I don't know. I don't have the same complaints of it's a $60 port, and I think I view video games as more as art than I do as like a source of entertainment, even though they are a huge source of entertainment for me. I feel like they're art, and it's hard for me to say like that $60 isn't, I don't know. It's like just because it's a port means it's not worth $60. So there's that complaint, but there's also I just feel like Tropical Freeze did so many things so well, and there's a really good video by Game Maker's Toolkit that sort of explains like the whole, like my reasoning. It totally converted me on thinking it's better, but it's and I'm definitely excited to play Returns Remastered HD or whatever they called it, but but it's just, I don't know. Tropical Freeze is it just feels like unbeatable. It's just peak Donkey Kong for me.
Oh yeah, another masterpiece. I'm gonna be throwing that word around.
Yeah, and I did.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I did actually just buy. I've got my receipt up on my screen right now. Nintendo in Japan, they posted some Donkey Kong merch the other day, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be Japan only, of course. And someone DM'd me and said, hey, did you see that Donkey Kong merch is up on the US Nintendo store now? So I literally, like, right before we were recording, I went and bought the super ridiculous Donkey Kong character jacket, they call it, and it's like the hood comes up and it's got the Donkey Kong like hair, and and I bought the banana zip pouch too, just because I had to. But
what was the barrel? I saw a barrel.
Yeah,
What's
there's
that,
it's like a sling, and then there was something else too. So there's Donkey Kong barrel sling. And then and then just like a plush, a Donkey Kong barrel plush, and a T-shirt, and then the banana sling. But I figured, the banana sling, I'll just keep my Joy-Con in it, my magnetic Joy-Con when the Switch 2 comes out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about you being so good at going back and playing old games. Now, I have played a ton of Breath of the Wild, but a game I haven't played is your answer to the second question I had for you. A game you love right now that you feel is underrated. And I've sent a bunch of people these questions to fill out before I record with them, right? You were a challenging one because I feel like you play so many older games, whether it's for work or just because you enjoy playing them. They're like, this is not a modern game, right?
No, it's not
the
modern.
Legendary Axe. I don't think I've ever even played it, but I would love to hear why you feel like it's underrated.
Yeah, so the reason I chose, so what I ended up doing to, like, when you sent me this list, I was like, what games did I beat last year? Because that's everything I played recently, and it's been a little while now. Legendary Axe was one of them. So this is a TurboGrafx 16 game. My little short history with it is I had that one friend that had a TurboGrafx 16, a couple of the great games on there. Legendary Axe is one of them. I remember really liking it. I remember being terrible at it, and it was one of those games I always wanted to get. So let's fast forward to like a year ago. Analog Duo shows up at my house. I have no games for this thing because they're all pretty expensive. And I was just like, you know what? It's time to do Legendary Axe. Like, I'm finally going to dive back into that one. So I got the Japanese version. It's a little cheaper. And that game is, like, to me, it's so good. And the reason I chose it is because, like, no one talks about it. And kind of like you like, kind of like what you said, you're like, I never even heard of this. Like, that's kind of like my thought. It's like, I feel like when people talk about retro games, you hear about a lot of the same ones over and over again. Just all the big ones, all the Marios, the Castlevanias, the Mega Mans, that kind of stuff. And for me, like, Legendary Axe is, if you like Castlevania, I think you would really like this game. It has the same kind of, very deliberate control. Like, you're kind of committed to your move. And I think it's just a really well-made game. It has great, like, spooky music. I think the PC Engine, the TG16, has, like, such a cool sound card, I guess, however it makes sound. It doesn't have a card, but however the sounds are coming out of this thing, it has such a cool, like, unique sound to it that it has, like, the game has just kind of like this cool spooky vibe. There's, like, this subgenre of, like, action game. I don't know what started it. My guess is maybe Astro Bot is the name of it. It was an arcade game, and then there's a couple of them like this, but they're like these action games where you kind of have a cooldown on your attack. So it's not like Castlevania where you can just sit there and keep, like, whipping.
Yeah, you can't spam.
Yeah, you can't spam. So it's like you have this big meter at the bottom of the screen, and it's always filling up. So in that game, basically, when you make your swipe, it better count because you got to wait for that swipe. You can spam it, but it's going to be weak. So there's a handful of these games like that, and Legendary Axe is in that category. It's that kind of game where you have that meter, it fills up as you go through the stage. You can actually power it up so it gets a little bigger and bigger. But it's a great. It's a ridiculous game. If you're looking it up, the second boss is a boulder. Like,
I was looking it up. I was curious about the box art. And
to describe it, you're like this caveman with an axe, and you got to save your girlfriend from, I don't know, some demon priest thing.
The story doesn't really. Well, you get the Japanese version. Did the story? So can you on analog on the Analog Duo or whatever it is? Can you patch? Yeah. Can you patch games with English patch, or it was just like, it's in Japanese, doesn't matter, I'll just play it anyway?
Yeah, it's just a straight action game. There's, like, no text to it, so
that's nice.
Straightforward.
Looked like it released in 1988 in Japan.
Yeah.
and then in North America released in 1989, a year later in August. But I wanted to look it up because I was curious about the box art, and if you're watching the video of this, I'll post the box art. You can see. I do think it's kind of funny that the developer was Victor Musical Industries, which is like such a funny name for a developer. I mean, they developed a lot of things, a lot of games, but also I think it's interesting that you were talking about how great the music is, and then they're like clearly like focused on music. So.
Yeah. So yeah, fun game. I might be overselling it. Maybe it is a little bit of nostalgia, but I mean, playing it like 30 years removed or whatever it's been. I mean, I loved it. I got good at it and figured out how to beat it. With the only thing I cheated on is there is so many. I guess it was Super Mario that started this. There's so many games. It couldn't have been Mario. It's just the one that I'm thinking of that have like that maze. You know what I'm talking about? Where you just go through the doors and it's like you go through the wrong door, you get sent back to the like. It's got a maze like that, which is ridiculous. I did try and solve that maze, and then I just ended up game facts on the map. I was like, the maze is like, not only is it like hard to figure out, but you're just getting you're getting the crap kicked out of you the entire time. So it's just like I just need to solve the maze so I can at least like just worry about these fights.
Yeah. Was it ye old game facts where like someone wrote like an ASCII art like whole like 600 page FAQ on how to beat it and all that.
I think it was one of the ones where when they make the map and you click it and it brings up a picture. I think someone made like a map like that and it just showed like the paths that you should go down.
Nice and easy, nice and straightforward. Yeah. I'm glad we've moved away from most of the like pick a random door.
I can't stand that kind of thing. So that's my one ding against that game. But I mean, I love it, and it's a game that like not many people talk about. I'm sure, the TG16 fans, all 10 of them that existed back then, like that was one of the games. It's like you got Bonk, Blazing Lasers, and probably like East on the CD if someone was lucky enough to play that.
Yeah,
but like
when I was looking up Victor Musical Industries, it looked like they did music for East. Is that how you say it? I've never said that out loud either. YS?
Yeah, East.
East. Yeah, they did. They did something on East 2, and East 3.
Yeah, so that was a cool game. I played that too for the first time on the. So that I'm going off topic.
No, sorry, Andrew. Ramble, please.
So the duo showed up, and like I said, I had no games for this thing, but I did have the TG16 Mini, which I played a little bit of, and then I was like, well, I got all these games on this, I may as well play this. So I ended up playing like 5 games on that. I loved it. I had a blast, and that was when after that I was like, all right, I just got to do Legendary games, and I love that too.
So you didn't play it when it first came out, but you did circle back around. However many years, 30 plus years later.
Yeah. I mean, so like I played it as a kid a few times, but I wasn't good at it, and I wasn't sure how I felt about it. So when I finally like got it, I was just like, I think I really like this game. And then when I played it again, I was like, this is awesome. Like, why are they not re-releasing this? How come I can't like just download this on Switch? So
there's a company that's been re-releasing a bunch of old games. Egg. Is that a thing that sounds familiar to you? I'm not familiar with them at all, but I assumed you would know.
So, man, here's the thing with that. It's like awesome and not awesome at the same time. There are all these ancient like Japanese computer games that probably not many people have heard of. And there are all these like things I would love to play, like the original version of East, or there's like the original version of like Sylphid. So there's games like that, and it's called Egg Console. The only problem is they're all the Japanese versions, and a lot of them are like super text heavy. So it's just like, I'm not like,
nope.
It stinks because they're all there, and it's like the first time this stuff has ever been like legally available in North America. Yeah. However, I can't read any of it. I did think about buying a handful of them just to be like, I just want screw around with them for a little bit. I don't care if I can figure it out or not, but I would love to play a whole bunch of them.
I feel like we're probably not too far from having like a live screen text translator or something. I've been wanting to play some Japanese only games on stream on Twitch or something, but a lot of them are like pretty text heavy Japanese, but I would love to have it just like feed it through something where it translates the text live. And I know that it's not like a faithful translation, and I think people that are
enough,
crazy about translation will yell at me for saying that, but it's enough that like it's either that or I don't play the game at all. And I don't know, like
especially since the solution would be AI, and they really hate that.
Definitely.
But I mean, hey, if it's let me play the game,
it's the difference is like, you play the game or I don't, and it's like, well, I got to settle for something. But so how long? I feel like how long was Legendary Axe? I feel like some of the older games were like not super long, but they were hard enough that they were long just because they were so hard to beat.
Yeah, I think the timer, because the analog, when you have a memory card in there, it keeps track of how long you play the game. I think it took me like 4 or 5 hours to like figure it out, but it's like a half hour to 40-minute game and I would play straight through. So I was legit, as in like if I died, I would
restart,
get good at it. And I didn't want to, because I knew it was short, and I was like, I'll figure it out. I don't need to save state it, and I did. So it took me about.
I'm notoriously bad at side scrolling, like Metroidvania, any sort of Metroidvania type games, and I think this is probably different than Metroidvania because you're not like backtracking and stuff, but still like a side scrolling like Ghouls and Ghosts or like any of those side scrolling games.
Like that.
I'm so bad at them. I'm real bad at games. I play everything on easy mode if it's got easy mode. I play it on easy mode if it's a story based game. But so I won't be picking it up, I don't think.
Don't seek this one out. But for anybody listening that likes like a pretty tough classic action game and you've never heard of this or played it and you love Castlevania, I would check it out. This
is the one. And if you want to play as a caveman that fights a boulder. Did you say the second boss is a boulder?
It's literally a boulder.
Big boulder. I'm gonna have to look up a video.
It's ridiculous. You'll probably crack up. I remember even as a kid, I was like, I can't believe this boss is a boulder.
Yeah.
And it was so hard. It was so difficult. It's actually still kind of difficult, but I figured it out now with my, adult brain. Yeah. But no, it's just ridiculous. So there are like hazards. There's boulders in the stage, and you hit them, and they just kind of knock away or whatever. But then on the boss, it's like I think they're like gray boulders in the stage, and the boss like this big brown boulder. And there's like basically the boulder goes back and forth on the screen, and there's a rope, and there's this rope swinging. So basically, like you got to get on the rope to get over the boulder, and then you hit the brown boulder.
It's a slightly different colored, threatening looking boulder.
Yeah, so maybe the guys that did Resident Evil 5, where Chris beats up a boulder, they may have been Legendary Axe fans.
I'm just imagining a hand-drawn games guide of a big boulder.
Draw that boss.
How do I make this interesting? Okay, so I'm skipping Legendary Axe. One game I'm not skipping though is this next one.
Okay.
Another game you love right now that feels like it was made just for you. And I think this question is this question and this answer in particular is fascinating because I feel like a lot of people might say this. I feel like at least I've seen this sort of conversation on social media. Astro Bot came out in September of 2024. I think it was early September.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I was playing BAKERU when it came out, or BAKERU.
Okay. Oh yeah, I want to play that.
I still don't know how to say. Oh, love it, fantastic.
Oh, cool. I could. Did you play it on PS5 or?
No, I played that on Switch. I mean, I played Mameda no BAKERU when it was in Japan only, and it didn't have English. And that was the one I was like, the story doesn't really matter, and I would like translate it. I'd pull my phone out, use Google Translate to like translate the shop items, so I knew what the shop items did. But they did, I think Spike Chunsoft did. Get it localized, and it is in the US now. So there's a physical coming out in like March or something of 2025.
Oh man, maybe I'll grab that.
Totally worth picking up. But so I was busy playing BAKERU because that released in late August. But I got my fiance early last year, I got her into playing games. She wasn't really a gamer. I mean, she had like a Game Boy Advance when she was a kid and a DS or something. But I got her started playing. She really wanted to play Hogwarts Legacy. I'm going on a total rant here. Total.
I did it. It's my turn.
So I was playing a little bit of Hogwarts Legacy when that came out on PS5, and she really wanted to play it. She loves Harry Potter, but she's so new to gaming and the really hard part is using both sticks, moving and controlling your camera at the same time. I feel like everyone that's new to games like really struggles with that. So to get her started, I got her playing. Let's see, I think like Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Just try to get the directions going, and then she beat that.
Oh,
she beat Super Mario Odyssey, and then she like really started getting into stuff. I introduced her to Stardew Valley. She's got 500 hours in the Stardew Valley now. Like she's like totally gone off the deep end.
Wow.
But Astro Bot, when I showed her the video of Astro Bot, she was like, "Oh, this is like Super Mario Odyssey. Like I really want to play this." So we ended up playing it in like October, starting it in October or November. I saw that Forrest Minish, Rebecca Stone, she had posted that her and her partner were taking turns, like level by level. They'd switch off turns, and then, or like if they died, they would take turns that way too. So we started playing Astro Bot, and man, fantastic. And I think like the gameplay loop and the type of the kind of gameplay there is, it really feels like a lot of people would answer. It feels like a game made just for them, especially if you grew up playing PlayStation. And I didn't have, I had like an NES, and then I didn't have a Nintendo console again until the Wii. So I missed out on a ton of great Nintendo years. But
what were you playing? Like Sega, Genesis?
So yeah, we had a Sega. So we had an NES, and we had a Sega Genesis. Played a Sega, the like classic, and a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog. And then I was a PC gamer, so I was playing like Diablo, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, Counter-Strike, and World of Warcraft, and all that. And then we didn't have anything until PS2. So then then I was a Sony gamer, Sony Pony or whatever. So it definitely feels like, man, there was a lot of great throwbacks in Astro Bot, and it really felt like I love that a game can make you feel like it was made just for you. But now that I've got my spiel out of the way, I'd love to hear why you feel like it was made just for you.
So I'm going to be slightly negative at first.
Start low, go high.
I'll go into my and then I'll go high. So for me it was like this game looks like it's made for. I love a great platformer. Like I love Mario. Like Mario is probably one of my favorites. You know, like I love every Mario game. So to see like Sony put some effort into this thing, it looked real good. Even though I played what's it called, Astro's Playroom, the one that came with the PS5. I liked it. And I thought it was cool, but I didn't really. It
was like a tech demo. It felt like a tech demo.
Yeah. But anyway, when this came out, my daughter wanted it, and Zelda actually came. Echoes of Wisdom came out around the same time. I chose that over, even though I didn't finish Echoes. I chose that over this. But anyway, Santa Claus brought Astro Bot. So I was watching her play it at first, and all right, here's my negative part. I was just like, I don't know if I like this because. To me, the best way I can put it, at least when you're looking at it at first glance, I was like, this looks like when you go out to a corporate party and you're supposed to be having fun. And you're like, aren't we having fun? But you're like, you're at like some event place and you're like, but I'm at like the company party.
I'd rather be home.
It had like that kind of vibe to me where I was like, aren't we having fun? Like the robots are like doing the floss dance and the gritty and this kind of stuff. And I was like, it just seemed like something that like older people thought was still cool. And so I was like, I don't know if I'm into this. Like the vibes kind of turning me on.
And this is when everybody said it was
great. Yeah, I'm just watching it at this point. Everybody's saying it's great. And I was like, but I mean, I do like this. Looks like it's something that's made for me. I got to try it. So then I did try it last week. I'm not that far into it. I think I did like 2 worlds, but no, it's really good.
Yeah.
it got me.
I feel like you get your hands on the controller and you're like, oh wow, this is why everybody loves it.
Yeah. You know what's crazy too is like everybody loves it, and it reminds me it's like so like 2007 Nintendo. Like whereas I feel like a lot of people were, I mean, not down on Nintendo at that point, but like. If you were living through the Wii era, the Wii and DS era, it was a lot of like PS3, 360 were the thing. If you were wiggling the controller around, you
like bowling and
you like, so there's a lot of that vibe where it's like I'm blowing in the controller like a DS game, or like all the little sound effects that are coming out of the speaker. I love that stuff. Thank you. Like that stuff's so cool, but it's like it's so like old. Well, now it's old school Nintendo. But I mean, I still love that stuff. I still love the sounds coming out of the controller, and all the little gimmicks are cool. The only thing that I think is a little weird, I don't know how well of a job they did with shoving all the characters in. So there are parts where they did it really cool. So I don't know. The one level I'm playing, I was just in this cave and I'm finding characters from The Last of Us, and I'm like, why are they here?
Yeah. Why is it a cave?
Like maybe there should be like a zombie level where like. You're finding Last of Us guys, you're finding Resident Evil guys. They're all kind of grouped together.
Yeah.
Like I feel everybody's just kind of this is random. Like the first stage, you're finding Metal Gear guys, but it's like I'm on a tropical island. Why am I finding Psycho Mantis?
Yeah,
but then
some of them are better than others. Okay. Some of them are better than others. Like there's one that's Horizon Forbidden whatever West or whatever Horizon characters, and it's like a Horizon level. Like you're like climbing up a tall neck, and you're like your powers to like shoot a bow is my favorite level. It's fantastic. But I can't imagine like if they had to or felt like they needed to put themselves in a box, like make a level that matched all those characters. I think that would be tough. Right. But I get what you mean. Like some of them are like, Metal Gear Solid on you're on like a tropical island where you're like fighting a big turtle or a crab or something.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of strange. But like you said, then there are levels where I just did the God of War one where you find Kratos, and then I guess the way it works, because I didn't play enough of it yet, but it happened 2 times, so I guess this is how the game works. You beat a boss, you rescue 2 PlayStation characters, or 1 PlayStation character, and then the follow-up stage is like a stage based on that game. So the first world was Ape Escape, so that stage is like you're running around with the net.
Catching the monkeys.
Yep, yeah, and that was great. I was like, this is cool. And then I did the God of War one. I haven't played the new God of Wars. I played the old ones. But so I don't know much about that. But like, you know, you had the axe and you're throwing the axe and you're doing like cool little, like very light puzzle solving with it. It was cool. And that stuff's great. And I know they can't do that with like they got a million franchises in there. Yeah. But I just wish like, it's such a small nitpick. Like I feel like I'm being ridiculous, but like,
well, when you answer, like it feels like it's made for you, but
yeah. But I mean, I love when they pop up and I recognize the character. Yeah. I'm like, oh, that's where they are. Yeah. So like it's working. It's still working.
Yeah.
But no, all the bosses are the bosses are. I only fought 2 of them. Well, there's like mini bosses and stuff. The one was like a Shadow of the Colossus boss, so that was cool. Like that level was like you find like Ico, and I don't know if you find anybody from Shadow of the Colossus there, but the boss is like a Shadow of the Colossus boss. It rises up out of the ground. You got to climb it real quick. So they do cool. There is a lot of stuff.
I feel like what's weird though is there's no Final Fantasy characters. I feel like I feel like that was one thing people were like, what's the deal? Like did Square Enix was like, no Final Fantasy characters, which feels strange. And maybe I'm misremembering. Somebody will call me out in the comments, but yeah, we're like, so we beat it right before Christmas, and we beat it, and there was like, now we're going back and 100%ing it. You know, like she's addicted. My fiance is addicted to like finding all the puzzle pieces and getting all the bots, and it's a good time.
That was another one. Like I knew this was pretty good. I was like, oh, I think this game's got me. I was playing it the one morning, and I was getting ready to wrap up. I was like, I got stuff to do today, but I found like a secret, and I found like a secret level. I was like, oh, this is cool. So I played the secret level, and then that opened up like 3 like really short. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like they're like these almost like little obstacles.
They're cross, square, circle, triangle. Like, depending on where you're at, they're like different PlayStation.
Yeah,
shapes.
So I found the triangle one, and then it opened up like 3 more triangles. I was like, ooh. So the one was kind of hard, but I did it, and then I was like, all right, well, let me just do one more. And then I was like, one more, and I'm done. And then like I played that one. I did that one pretty quick, and I was like, well, I guess I can squeeze in one more. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is nuts. So I did play the other one. And then after that, I was like, I'm done. But I was like, it's got me because I want to keep playing this stinking game. So like,
I love those because those were too hard for my fiance. And it was like, okay, well, I'll play all these side hard levels. And some of them were like kind of pissing me off. And I'm like, man, this is
the one was starting to make me mad.
Yeah, and I was like, and then I beat it, and it was just like feels so good. It feels so good.
Yeah.
But I think Astro Bot for me was the first time where I really felt like, at the beginning of when we were talking about Astro Bot, you were saying that it felt like, I don't know, like a Mario Wii game or a Wii game or something.
Yeah.
It really was the first time where I felt like, okay, I'm ready for the Switch 2. Like with all the particle effects and like the it really feels like the Dual Sense or whatever the new controller is called, the PlayStation 5 controller. They really have the HD rumble down. The HD rumble awesome. And the triggers, the like haptic triggers, and it really feels like, when they were up on stage shaking around the ice cubes. Yep. And that's what I felt like it was going to be. And then Astro Bot really is that. It was the first time I really felt like, okay, I'm ready for some new Nintendo hardware. Even though it's only supposed to be like a PS4, PS4 Pro, whatever. Like, Nintendo is always going to be able to squeeze absolute crazy amount of juice out of that limit or whatever, right? So I'm fully expecting something great, and I'm hoping the Switch 2 launches with a 3D Mario of some sort. I would love to follow up Astro Bot last year with some like new 3D Mario, Super Mario Galaxy 3 maybe.
Oh man,
that would be
anything, whatever.
That would be amazing. Yeah. So it was the first time. It was the first time I really felt like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't exactly the first time. I was playing Echoes of Wisdom, and there was quite a bit of FPS drop, and I was like, okay, okay, it's time. But Astro Bot was definitely like, man, this is fantastic. I would love to see what Nintendo could do with this sort of horsepower. So I don't know, maybe we'll see.
Yeah, you bring up a good point too. Like, it's weird that you played that game and your thought was, well, I want more Nintendo, because it kind of happened to my daughter. And that was another reason why I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because I was thinking those thoughts where I was like, this doesn't, when I was just watching her play it. And after she was done, she hasn't even played it. After she was done, she was just like, I really want a new Kirby. So like the game just reminded her of something that she'd rather be playing, which I thought was weird. And then like when I was watching it, I was having that thought where I was just like, I really just want like a new Mario.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now that I'm playing it, I'm into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, for her, like she couldn't get over that hump. It just reminded her of like Forgotten Land, going back to that one, because she loved that. Yeah. She's like, it's like finding the Waddle Dees. I'm just finding the Waddle Dees, or is that who you're finding in that? Yeah, you're finding the little guys. Yeah. She's like, it just reminds me of that. I'd rather play that. And I was like, wow, all right. So she barely played this game that she really wanted. Yeah. But
well, now you get to play.
I'm playing it. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught at the Game Awards when Astro Bot won Game of the Year. When they were up on stage, they like very much could not name Nintendo or Super Mario, like by name. But they was very much like, look, we were we grew up playing, they were like very inspired by these games. And it really did feel like they were just like, okay, we're going to make a game that we want to make. And we're going to like, if they had an idea for something, it feels like they just were like, okay, that's a great idea. We're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's add it to the game. And I think when you give developers that sort of freedom, like you back developers that are passionate about something and you give them that sort of freedom to make a game they want to make, I think we're going to get more Astro Bots. And I think Nintendo seems like they've been pretty good about that. Like sometimes they're not, but it seems like they've been pretty good about that. And that's why we end up with so many games that, your daughter's saying, I want more of Nintendo.
Yeah. The other thing too with Astro Bot, or even just the PlayStation in general, like Sony's first party output, like doesn't really do anything for me. Like I haven't played God of War. I didn't play the second last. Like I liked Last of Us, but I was like, whatever. I never played any of the Horizons. Like I think they look cool, and I'm sure if I played them, I would like them. Like I have no doubt if I play God of War, I'd probably like this is pretty cool. But like I don't know. When I'm watching those games, I'm like, it's just like a movie game. I don't want to play the movie game. I want to play the game.
Yeah.
So, watching Sony basically like slowly wipe out all their like creative studios over time. And now they're just stuck with the movie games, and then they make this. It's like, oh, good. And I'm not saying, and then you got something like Concord, which, that story.
It's heartbreaking for everyone that invested all their, missed their birthdays and lives, and
my God,
totally heartbreaking.
And then apparently today a story came out where they can't because of that they canceled like 2 other games.
Blue Point was working on a live service God of War game, and it's heartbreaking.
Right, and it is terrible. But I guess my hope, though, is like hopefully they see something like Astro Bot and they start looking into like smaller scale things where they can make a mistake. Maybe if that was like a smaller scale game, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how these things work. I don't know how budgets work. Maybe if it had a proper budget, it would have had a chance to come out and didn't have to light the world on fire, but it could have been good, and people would have stuck with it maybe. But I don't know.
I think I understand what you're saying though. Like Astro Bot, and I think back to other games like Hi-Fi Rush. That's another one where it was like smaller game, smaller budget, smaller studio, kick ass. And unfortunately, Microsoft axed them, but they were picked up by, I don't remember who they were picked up by, but some Tencent company, I think. I don't remember.
I think so.
And so, like, I don't know. Hopefully, Sony sees what they take away from Concord is, well, let's have these studios make other things that aren't live service games. And I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, you got to try and find some kind of silver lining, positive, I guess, right? It's like, right, yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. Because if they're just like, well, we're just going to cancel these big ones, we're just going to make more big ones that need to sell 10 bajillion copies, in order for these people to keep their jobs. And
well, like I was talking about at the beginning of our conversation tonight, is like, it's heartbreaking because I feel like when big studios take games and all their focus is to squeeze money out of them, it's like trying to squeeze money out of art. It's like, okay, well, we're going to pay an artist to make art that is going to make the most money. Is like, that's just not how you should approach art. I really don't feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like you get the best out of it. But I mean, at its base, like Nintendo they're still a company that like wants to make a profit, right? So it's not like they're not like they're totally different, but
no, but they do. I do think I think they have a better handle on their budgets, and I mean they know how to make a game like what's it called, Emio or whatever.
Yeah, Emio is great.
I wanted to play it. I never played. I wanted to play the other Detective Famicom, whatever the heck they're called. I wanted to play those too, but like I bet you that game sold like nothing. But like it probably made the money.
Yeah.
Because they just know how to budget this. I don't know. They're just like good. They're good at it. I know.
Yeah, Imio's fantastic. I was like, I wasn't really interested at all in visual novels. I was just like, if I don't know, I'm going to read a book. If I'm going to read a book, right? I don't need to watch a semi movie, read a book, sort of thing. And I on a whim, I played Imio, and man, other than some like really very dated feeling mechanics in it, fantastic. Like the story is really cool. The art is incredible.
Yeah.
It was just it's a great game.
I wish I had like a physical of it. I guess is there Japanese
in the U.S.
English?
There is, but no, in the U.S. there is a North American physical version. Is. Okay. But I think the first 2 games was Japan only in Japanese.
Maybe that's what I was thinking. All right. Well,
it's definitely worth picking up if you're I don't know. I think it's like 15 hours long, which is.
That's good.
Is it good? Because I don't know. I was not a long game gamer until last year, and I played Xenoblade Chronicles, and then I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
playing some
and
beasts.
I played Torna, and now I'm playing 3, and like, man, I put more hours into games last year than I have in years, and it's great. It's good to get back, but so this one is one of the last questions I have for you. The game you're most looking forward to that isn't available right now, and I was talking to Liam Robertson, and his answer was the same thing.
Oh
Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4. And I feel like everyone I'm going to ask this question right now, if you play Nintendo games and you love Nintendo in general, like Metroid Prime 4 is going to be your answer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So do you think it's going to be a launch title on Switch too?
Oh yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it's going to be like it's got to be like Breath of the Wild, where it's going to be available on Switch, but also be on Switch too.
Yeah, or like. It's a Switch game, but when you pop it in your Switch 2, it downloads some update and makes it like
still
a Switch 2 game.
Or whatever.
Yeah, like and it whatever that makes it.
And we've only at the point of recording, we've only seen one real trailer for it, right? I mean, other than the like, hey, we're making Metroid Prime 4, which was in like 2018 or whenever they announced that.
And I thought it looked when they showed that trailer, my thought was like, is this really a Switch game? Like, I mean, Metroid Prime did look really good. The remastered
Metroid Prime Remastered,
it looked really good.
And see, I missed the Metroid Prime games when or at least the GameCube games because I didn't have a GameCube. So I went back and played Metroid Prime Remastered. I didn't beat it, but I did play through quite a bit of it. Yeah, man, that is one of the best looking Switch games. Retro really were able to squeeze, and it runs at 60 FPS. I think. Like it runs really well.
Yeah.
So it does not surprise me. It would not surprise me if Metroid Prime 4 was like, still 60 FPS on Switch One. But yeah,
they'll pull it off.
So are you a huge Metroid Prime fan? Is that why you're looking forward to this one the most?
Oh yeah. So the only thing is, my one thought was like after I played Dread, I was like, Dread was so good. Like before playing Dread, I just thought like, this is just the appetizer before Metroid Prime 4. Like Metroid Prime 4 is going to be the real game. Like Dread's going to be cool. But then like after I played Dread, I was like, this is incredible. Like now, like what did the Metroid Prime guys do? Like they can't just make Metroid Prime after this. Like they got to do something. Like because this game was awesome. So I'm still pumped. The only thing I'll say is like when it started, I guess in my head, even though it's called Metroid Prime 4, so you're getting Metroid Prime. In my head, I was like, I wonder if they're going to kind of treat this like a Breath of the Wild moment where they kind of rethink a lot of how this game fun, and it could still be. We only saw a 5-second trailer, but to me, it was like, okay, this is definitely just Metroid Prime. They're not going off course. They're not like reinventing the wheel or anything like that, which is fine.
The HUD, and you're still looking through the visor.
Yeah. Which is that's what I want. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Like maybe once the game actually like begins, there's the way the whole map works. It could be what I'm maybe hoping for or whatever, but it doesn't matter. It can be literally just like the other Metroid Primes, and I'm all in.
Yeah, more Prime.
Yeah, the only thing with those games is like, so you only played the first one, right?
Yeah.
Though they're all great. The second one is extremely hard, it's extremely difficult, and the map is insane. It's
more confusing than Metroid Prime because I don't know, they're all confusing. So
that's right. Yeah, because you said earlier that the Metroidvania style games you have
I'm bad.
trouble with.
I'm very bad. I don't even want to talk about Dread. I got to the room where you have to shoot the ceiling, and it wasn't like there was a crack in the ceiling. You know, at the beginning of Metroid Dread, is like there's like you're like you can't go anywhere, and you get to the upper right
It's the
corner,
Jaffe room,
and you
right?
have to like
you got stuck in the.
I did. I was literally like, fuck, like I'm done. I don't want to play this. Like, and I was talking to my buddy Brian Barnett. He was saying like, oh, you just have to get like in Metroid games, you just have to shoot every wall. That's just part of the game. And I was like, no, nope, I'm out. I bought the game, $60. I bought it release. I was like, I'm gonna get into it. No, I don't want. No, absolutely not for me.
Well, once you get past that wall, it's great.
Yeah. I also don't like being scared.
Awesome.
Metroid, I'm like, I don't really like scary movies. And Metroid Dread was like, it's a scary game.
Yeah, it's got a good creepy
when you're getting
feel.
Chased. Ugh.
Oh yeah. Those are good. So I love that. The Prime. So Prime 2, like so there's like a dark world that almost kind of like Link to the Past, where you can enter this dark world, but the map is not like perfectly mirrored. It's like some, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost, just think of it like there's an A map and a B map. So when you're using these two maps to kind of like jump between spaces, and it gets nuts. and then there's like this end game fetch. Well, they all have like an end game fetch quest, but the one in that, it's brutal. Like you just like, oh God, I gotta run through this whole convoluted map again. It's a great game. It's just really, it's tough. And then the third one is like way more streamlined, and that was a Wii game, and I think they were kind of trying to make it a little more like, especially after 2, like accessible,
more playable.
Yeah, and that reminds. Did you play through Skyward Sword?
No, not yet. I haven't.
Okay,
I've got it on my shelf. I'm ready for it.
Okay, that's a cool game. The structure it's very much like Skyward Sword. It's very weird how if somebody I'm sure somebody's hearing me say this. They're like, what are you talking about? But like you kind of, in Skyward Sword, you have the sky, which there's like nothing up there. And then you dive down into like, there's basically like 4 areas. I forget how many there are. There's like 4 areas, major areas. And when you go into them, they're almost like little Metroid puzzles. And then you find the dungeon in there and you go in the dungeon. So Metroid Prime 3 is kind of similar, where like there's not like a sky where you're flying around, but you kind of pick like your drop point, and that's like a small little maze. You got to figure out that maze, and that's it. That's the whole game. But like, actually, there is kind of like a hub. I think there's like a spaceship, and you kind of fly up into the spaceship, and you slowly get through that. It's like a dungeon that you slowly get throughout the game. Like I think you kind of come and go. You find these batteries or something. It's been ages since I played it, so I could be completely wrong. But yeah, they're kind of similar structure, those two games.
See, I keep thinking too, like with Metroid Prime 4 coming up too, I think like, okay, they re-released, or they did the Metroid Prime Remastered, and there's been the rumor of the Metroid Prime trilogy coming to Switch. So part of me is like, man, are they gonna like shadow drop 2 and 3, and like to get people ready for 4? If 4 is like more like a launch window game, and now I'm thinking like, man, if they do drop those games, I'm gonna need a hand-drawn game guide. And I know it can't be officially released, but I'm gonna need some tips, man. Like, this is sounded intense. So I'm gonna need map A and B drawn in a way that I can put them together, and I'm gonna need some help if I'm gonna play through.
There's got to be something out there. There's got to be something. But yeah, no, that's a tough game. And then like you also have like limited ammo, and like you have there's like a special gun that only hurts creatures in the one world, and the other.
I wonder if they would make it more accessible if they did release the remasters, because with Metroid Prime Remastered, I feel like they did do some like quality of life updates, at least with the controls. I don't know if that necessarily makes it easier, but maybe they would put some difficulty options in, or I don't know, some sort of wayfinding, help you do the quest.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have something. But even like, well, it does kind of have wayfinding where it does like, it does the thing in Metroid, the first one, where the map pulls out and it kind of like boop, 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 like points you into a direction, but like it's not accounting for the fact you got to go between these 2 maps.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. I don't know. I think 2025 is probably a pretty good bet for Metroid Prime 4.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure those guys are great. They haven't had a miss ever. The 2 Donkey Kongs that we were talking about earlier, they're great games. I mean, they're both great games. Yeah. The reason I asked if the port was bad is because I saw reviews for Returns, and I'm not going to say they were low, but there was like a couple of 7s in there. I was like, this is better than a 7. This game, like this is a great game.
Yeah,
like
I saw some people complaining that it seemed like it was a graphical downgrade, but Retro didn't. Retro's not credited on it, which is also an interesting. Nintendo keeps doing that, and it's like I know that a different studio worked on porting it, but not crediting the original creators is not a great look. But
yeah, they definitely been doing that.
But I'll update you. I'll update you on it when I play it. I've been trying to get around to it, but I've been super addicted to Xenoblade 3, so it's hard. It's hard to want to play anything else. It's man, if you've got the time to commit to them, I think it's
that's why I never played them.
Right. Even though we just got done talking about Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like,
I know, right?
And that's how I felt. And then I was like, I don't have time to play these JRPGs, right? But then I end up dumping, a couple 100 hours into them last year. So I guess I do have time.
That's awesome.
If I'm addicted to them enough. But what I'm curious, and this is maybe the last question I've got for you, is any games that didn't make the cut that you want to mention. And FANTASIAN Neo Dimension is here. And I don't know how long this one is. I think it's only like 20-ish, 25 hours, something like that. So it's not super long, but I would love to know. I picked this one up at release, so I've got it because I want to play it, but I'd love to know your thoughts on it.
So, all right, I have no thoughts on it, but I picked it because I originally had it in the game that seemed like it was made for me spot. And I have it, like you, but I did not play this game. But it seems like a game that was like made for me. So I just felt like I still wanted to throw it into the conversation. And, I love classic Final Fantasy. So you got Sakaguchi on there. It's one of his games. Uematsu's back for the music. So it's like,
and it's like his final, he's not done working, but it's his final full game soundtrack, I think is what he was saying.
So you got those two. And then it has these like amazing hand created models that you walk that's the background.
So they made all those models and then they like took photos of them and then put them in the game, which I remember when it released on was it
Apple
iOS?
iPhone. Like Apple Arcade or something. I think, right?
I remember seeing it like, wow, that is incredible. Like why isn't this coming to console? And I was very surprised that it wasn't coming to console, and then it finally did. But
so definitely this seems like a game totally made for me, and I want to play it. It's literally above my head in the room above me, and I want to play it so bad. I just haven't had a chance to get in there. So I think after Astro Bot, I'm going to dive in, and I still wanted to just mention it because it just seems like, hopefully it's cool.
This feels like
seems like it'll be good.
It feels like an artist's pick. Feels like as an artist, you're like, So I was curious, like, have you ever worked in a like physical? I know you draw, but you also do like digital art. Have you ever done any like model building, any like Warhammer 40K or anything like that?
No,
never done any of that.
No,
because I played quite a bit of 40K back in the day. It's been a long time, but I remember like some of the more detailed. If you're not familiar with 40K, it's like a tabletop. Anyway, that's not listening. It's not familiar. It's a tabletop game where you like have miniatures that are like an inch tall or something, and you paint them all, and then you have to also build like terrain and buildings and big hills and crashed ships and stuff, and the bushes and the trees and everything, and it just reminds me so much of that. I don't know. I love the look of it, and I can't wait to dive into it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got a bunch of good scores, a bunch of good reviews. So
looked like it reviewed well.
I hope it just does. I don't know. It feels like it's flying under the radar, and I know that it has come to consoles now, but I don't know. I'm a little bit worried that because it went to iOS first, and like people are just kind of. Also, a lot of JRPGs came out last year. Metaphor ReFantasio. Like I want to play that. I'm waiting for Switch 2 for it to come out on Switch 2. And knowing Atlas, they're gonna.
You're feeling confident.
Yes, you're very, very confident. But also, like, even if it doesn't come to Switch 2, which it will. I'm waiting for Atlas to release the like Super Fantasio version where it's got like the DLC included or something. They always do that. They always release games multiple times, I feel like. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I did the 2 last year. I did the 2. It took me like all year. I did Final Fantasy INTERGRADE and Rebirth.
So you've never played a Final Fantasy game?
Oh man!
I admitted that, which is it feels like I'm very nervous to admit it.
Right. Dude, I could say that about like I never played like. Well, I guess I was going to say I never played a Grand Theft Auto. There you go.
Oh yeah, well, That I guess that's right up there with it. But I don't know. You were saying I haven't played any of the new God of Wars, and I was just thinking to myself, in 20 years, Phil's going to be playing the old God of War Ragnarok or something. Like it's going to be
like this was great.
So maybe I don't know. The older Grand Theft Autos are way different than the new ones. So, but so it feels daunting. Like I wanted to play Final Fantasy, the remake and the retrograde and the part 1 or whatever. But it's like it's so daunting. It feels like, can I just jump into them? It doesn't feel like I can.
You could definitely jump into. Well, you couldn't do Rebirth. You would have to do part 1.
Yeah.
Whatever. I think I heard that's a Switch 2 rumored launch game. So maybe that's when you can dive in.
Yeah, maybe once I'm done wrapping up the Xenoblade series. I got another 200 hours left.
Yeah. So you do, for story purposes, you do need to play the first Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's it. That's what it's called, Remake. But the second one, I liked Remake. I didn't really expect to like it. I thought it was really good. But I loved the second one. The second one was awesome. So you could probably dive into those. So the nice thing about Final Fantasy is they're all different. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter which one you pick. It's always a different cast. It's always a different story. It's usually very different. Well, not very, but they all have different types of battle systems and things like that. So you can pick up wherever you want.
Well,
if you want a quick one.
Yeah, quick. I like quick ones.
So quick as in like 20 hours. I would suggest Final Fantasy IV Pixel Remaster. If you want like a nice one to jump into to get a good feel for Final Fantasy, that's the one I pick for you.
I like the Pixel Remasters, though. I think I prefer the HD 2D whatever things that they've been doing, like with Dragon Quest.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
It makes it feel modern enough that it doesn't feel like I'm playing it. And
so are you not into the older?
Yeah, it's hard for me. Yeah. It's hard for me to go back. I mean, I feel like there's like a line where I don't know. Maybe it's my age where it's like a certain. It just feels like a barrier to entry for me. But the nice thing about the 2D or the HD 2D 2D whatever it is that it feels like it's modernized enough that it isn't a barrier to entry, but it also keeps the like old school aesthetic. But I don't feel like the Pixel Remaster does that. It's just like.
It doesn't. They look nice though. Like they did a really nice job on them. But yeah, it doesn't have like the cool like 3D effect. Like I think Live Alive does it, and Dragon Quest, like you said,
Traveler and all that.
Yeah. So
and if I could turn around my camera and show you my shelves right now, I've got so many games, Phil. I had so many games.
Well, you're the games guy.
I've got so many.
You're the
That's the bad part about being the Nintendo deal guy. Is like, people are like, oh, thank you for saving me so much money, and I'm like, I have spent so much money. Am I really saving you money, or am I like helping you spend more?
Well, I was going to say that earlier. I was going to be like, your account is like, I love it, and I hate it because like I just want to spend. I've gotten very good at being like, I don't need this. Yeah. I can move on. But there's times where I'm scrolling through I catch up or whatever. I scroll through your account. I'm like, God, I want that. I want this. I want that. Maybe I'll get that. But I'm like, no, I got to stop.
Yeah.
Like I muted a Cheap Ass Gamer years ago. I was like, it was like during Christmas. Cheap Ass Gamer was going to town, and I was like, I was getting ready to spend, and I was like, I got to stop. So I was like, I just got to mute this guy. Like I can't look at this anymore. Yeah. And I started following. I was like, well, I want the Nintendo deals. So I started following you.
Well, I'm glad you did. It's been great getting to know you, and hopefully I haven't made you spend too much money. After having joined up with Michael and Scott on Deku Deals, I feel like I've been better at being a patient gamer. I can just set I added a game to my wish list and I set a price of like. I know Nintendo games don't go on sale that often, and they'll probably will never go, very, very, very rarely go below 30. But I'll set like, okay, this game, I don't want to spend more than $42, and maybe that'll be 3 months from release. But like Woot or someone will put it, Best Buy will drop it to 40 or something. So I've been better, although I did spend $60 on Donkey Kong, but. I don't know. I'm still a sucker. What I'm saying, Phil, is I've gotten better, but I'm still a sucker.
I'm there too. It happens to me as well. Yeah. but not as much.
Yeah.
The other thing that happens too when you have patience and you wait, you're like, yeah, I'll get that at $40. But then like sometimes by the time it hits $40, you're like, not really in the mood to play that.
Yeah.
And then you don't get it.
Yeah.
And so like there's that kind of
wait a little bit
maybe
longer.
That's bad, but yeah. So
I don't know. It's either that or I buy it and put it on my shelf, and then it taunts me.
It
looks, it just stares down at me.
Yeah, like I keep like a little stack of them. I actually got like right behind me. There's like a little stack of games like that I recently bought because I know if it goes in the shelf, I mean,
it's there for a while.
Lost.
Yeah,
I don't remember I have it anymore.
Yeah, I'm trying to look if I've got games on my desk in front of me.
Yeah, and that way I just like it reminds me I have a stack of games I want to play. Try not to add to the stack, and then just don't put them away because if they're not there, then a new stack will take its place.
Yeah.
So
the stack I've got in front of me is ones that I want to play with said fiance. Let's see, it's got It Takes Two and Unravel 2 because I feel like those are solid co-op games, and Cult of the Lamb because she's super into Stardew Valley.
People love
and
that.
I feel like Animal Crossing might be like after having played Stardew Valley, I don't know if you can go to Animal Crossing. There's just not nearly as much to do in Animal Crossing as there is in Stardew. So I don't know. We'll see. That's the stack I've got. I don't know. I got too many games around here, so everything's staring at me.
What about like you'll take a picture and you have like a stack of like 10 Donkey Kongs? Like what? Like are you like like a friend at a store? You just go take a stack of like a picture of the shipment.
Yeah,
is that what? Is that?
Yeah. But like people just keep thinking I'm getting how do you keep ordering one game and they send you 20? And I'm like, oh, I just have a friend that works at a store. Just their shipment shows up and they just send me a picture. But it's great. I mean, it wasn't as good with Donkey Kong because there was only like 15 copies. Like nobody ordered Donkey Kong. But it's great for like brothership and stuff when they get like 60 copies show up and. I don't know. It's a good time though.
Just get the big stack. Yeah. The reason I thought of that is while I worked in retail, so I know what it was like when you popped open the games. And
I used to work at Target. I was on at the time it was called Flow Team, and I was wake up at 3 a.m. We'd unload the truck and we'd stock the shelves, and then after we opened, I worked in the electronics section. And I remember we had a cage in the back, and it was like, "Do not sell these until whatever the date was." And I remember, gosh, it was like when was I working there? Xbox 360 came out, or I think it was Xbox 360 came out. I was working at Target, and we had them in the cage before anybody had them, and they were there. And, it's a fun memory, but I'm glad I'm not waking up at 3 a.m. anymore.
Oh my gosh!
Except damn Nintendo putting up the Nintendo Switch 2 trailer at 5 a.m. Pacific time or 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. It's killing me, man. I had my alarm set for 6 every morning, so I was like, they're gonna post it early. I know they're going to post it early. I woke up at 6 checking my messages, and I was like, oh, no. It's been up for 40 minutes.
So you did believe it was coming. You did believe it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I did tease it a little bit. I did post a couple. I made a couple of posts about, will you be picking up Donkey Kong? And B is the product code for Nintendo Switch 2.
That's all you wrote.
Yeah. So I think I was expecting them to schedule it to like post about when it was going to go up.
Yes.
And I watched the reveal trailer that Kit and Krista posted, and I think I agree with them. I mean, they know more about Nintendo than I do about how Nintendo works internally.
Yeah.
And they were saying something like when Nintendo no longer has control over something, they'll scramble to do anything they can to feel like they're in control. And what do you do when something like that gets leaked? Well, you don't tell people when it's going to happen so that the control you have is just it being a surprise post. And I think I agree with that. Like, I think that they had originally planned to tell people the day before, like, hey, watch for the trailer. It drops tomorrow. And I think when it got leaked, it was like, well, we've got to just shadow drop it. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It has been completely out of control. So
it has.
When it dropped, there was the rumor that it was hitting on Thursday. And a lot of people thought it was coming on Thursday, but like you said, I expected the announcement, tune in for the trailer, the premiere.
Yeah.
So the Thursday morning I woke up and I'm scrolling through and people are like, when they dropping this thing? I was like, I can't believe they think it's happening.
People are getting so mad
today. I was like, it's not happening. So I went into a group that I have with my nephew and my brother. And I was just like, people seriously think this thing's dropping today. And the moment I said that, another friend sent me a message, which was the YouTube link to the. Like, I can't believe it. I can't believe
you should have said it sooner. You should have said it weeks ago, Phil.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Like literally, like not even 30 seconds later, that link showed up. I was like, oh, I'm a fool.
Well, in the trailer, there's the C button is blank. Like it's very much that's the part of the leaks that I have been pretty disappointed in. Is the clearly this reveal trailer was under the working on the assumption that we don't know that button is a C button. Because it's not like they could show the trailer and then have that button be a C button and not explain it. Like when they show that, they have to explain what that button is.
I'm sorry, what's the C button?
Nobody knows, and that's the interesting thing.
Where is it?
It's below the home button. So there's a second button down there, and on the trailer it's blank. But everybody in all the leaks, it's a C. It's a C shape. And people are saying it's campus. People are saying it's cast. I don't know. Nobody really knows what it is, and that's what I like the software and the OS, it's all under wraps still. And I like that.
Yeah.
Nintendo's got that under control. I think the reason it's leaked so bad is that they started full on production. My understanding is in late August, September of last year, because they want to have 20 million units available for launch. So it's hard to avoid hardware leaks, but I'm looking forward to April 2nd. I'm pumped.
Yeah, so they're just stockpiling this thing.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. I'm a little bit nervous, one, as an affiliate, I make some of my earnings on affiliate links, but also as a player, like somebody who wants to own one. I'm a little bit worried that they're going to do an exclusive, kind of like PlayStation did for the Pro, where it's you can only buy it on the Nintendo store for the first 2 weeks or whatever. And I'm a little bit nervous because even signing up for the event, the hands-on event, their servers were down today. So I'm a little bit nervous they're going to do that, but hopefully not. Time will tell. And maybe if you're listening to this, it'll have already passed.
So the leaks, the trailer, other than the Mario Kart footage, didn't really show anything that nobody already saw. Even the Joy-Cons acting like a mouse, that was came out ahead of time.
It was cool though. It was confirmed the mouse thing because people were like, oh, probably could be a mouse. We'll see. I don't know. And then, but Mario Kart 9 with 24 players.
Yeah,
Mario Kart 10 or whatever. People are angry. I said it was Mario Kart 9, and people are like, well, actually,
it's 9. it's 9
because
the
Mario Kart Tour is a mainline game. Okay.
To me, it doesn't count.
Until they tell me what name it is, I'm just going to call it 9. But 24 players is that was a cool they slid that in there. They didn't say anything about it, so it's a long time to wait. We're recording this in mid-January. It's a long time to wait for April 2nd.
I know. So when they said the April date, I was like, that's cool. It's right around the corner. And I was like, wait a minute. It was this is 4 months off.
It'll go real quick though. It's going to go real quick.
Yeah.
So,
but not that I wish a quarter of my year away, but
it's going to go quick, especially for you because you've got a lot going on. And I don't know.
It's going to go quick.
So when does the Mega Man Hand-Drawn Games Guide drop? I know the Kickstarter wraps up in a couple of weeks, but do you know when it'll be shipping and people get it in their hands?
We are aiming for August, but I have a lot to do. So when I did the first Kickstarter, everything was done. Everything was. I made the books were finished. You could download them or whatever. So this is not finished. I'm very good portion into it, but there's a lot of work left. So I got to get my button gear so we can hit this ship date. I don't know.
And recording this has pushed it back a day. So I'm sorry, everyone that was expecting to get it in August. It's now going to be September 1st instead of August 30th.
No. So whatever. I mean, look, I'm going to try and do what I can. So
well, I'm pumped for you. Are you working on anything else? Or is it you just full steam ahead on Mega Man?
Full steam ahead. I worked in a fun little freelance thing that I think might come out next week. It's small, but it was fun.
Awesome.
But no, I've been turning down a lot of work. I had a lot of people asking me to help them with some stuff, and I'm just I can't. The thing that I did, I didn't want to pass up. It was
so I won't ask you to do any work. Then I'll skip it this time, but next time.
Well,
thanks again, Phil. It was a blast. Breath of the Wild, man. I feel like we could have talked for an hour about Breath of the Wild. So Breath of the Wild, Legendary Axe, Astro Bot, Metroid Prime 4, and FANTASIAN Neo Dimension, with a bunch of games also mixed in there. But it's been great. I really appreciate your time, and hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Cheers. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Talk a Good Game. This show is produced by me, Andrew Wolf, in Seattle, Washington, with music by Plus Minus One and art by Sonny Ross. The best way to support TAG is by leaving a review, and you can suggest a game for a future episode by reaching out to me at tagg@decudeals.com.